No, Doro Greymon.
Oh, I'd forgotten that Doro Greymon was on this ban list.
Yep, he is my hit big, hit fast, be protected type thing.
Oh, we have an ad. Mac turned those on, I guess.
Fun. So yeah.
Did we go offline?
No.
Either we did or we just got an ad.
I'm gonna go check. Live looking. Yeah, it still says we're on air, according to the back end. So I guess it's just mid-roll ad.
Okay.
Well, this is why we check this stuff. But yeah, I guess that's it from me. So I guess next victim.
Alex?
Well, my grandmother's health is continuing to trend slowly downwards, but that's not, I mean, she's very old, so not surprising. Let's see, nothing particular at work today. Like I said, my game store, we're not doing anything particular for EX3 aside from, aside from gonna have a pre-release tournament, or not gonna have a pre-release tournament, but gonna have a the other thing.
Popper.
They're doing a popper format, and but I am hoping to get a thing of that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to because I have a whole lot of things that cost money that I think are going to be taken out of my account that are all turning out to be at around the same time.
Oof.
Unfortunately, like the Bayonetta 3 Trinity Masquerade Edition I ordered back in like July got delayed a week or two. My Splatoon 3 amiibos are coming soon. The Switch with the OLED Switch with the Pokemon Scarlet Violet coloration that I got because this one's fan is still acting up. Is coming sometime between now and when Pokemon comes out, I think. Some people apparently got them early, so that's concerning. Because apparently they charge you when stuff ships. So, while I do have, I think, enough money in my bank account, plus I have to do rent, so I may have to move some stuff around a little bit temporarily to figure that out, but I do still want to get a box of EX3 when it comes out.
Yeah.
And I have some bills that I'm still waiting for to come, but those are medical bills, so I have some time to pay those. Because they're currently working their way through insurance, and then even once the bills come, they usually give you a month. So yeah, game-wise, waiting for things to come out and still playing Splatoon 3. I understand why they're not doing why they did do an October Splatfest, but I'm still looking forward to the Grass, Fire, Water one. Though I have not 100% decided what team I'm on, but probably Grass. I think that's about all.
I guess it's my go. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So last week, I finally had a appointment with my dietitian. That went for a long time. I was there for about 2 hours. So the good news is, I'm about down to target weight. Let's see, I think I'm about 197 at last weigh-in. And now she wants me to shift to more maintaining my weight than anything else.
Which is unfortunately not that easy, but
yeah, I'm like, yeah. The thing is, she's also recommended the fucking plate method, the plate diet, which is okay, for a condensed explanation, it's where a diabetic takes a plate, a regular dinner plate, and puts a whole bunch of food on it. Like half of it fibrous vegetables, half of it a quarter of it
I think that's like the diet they recommend for normal people too. That's the new version of what used to be the food pyramid.
could be.
That said, yes, it's very difficult for people who don't like routinely sit down for like a family dinner with 5 courses because
that don't necessarily have the money to make a different thing every night. So I'm trying the plate method as best as I can, but I'm like having it for every meal and then snacking in between. Like this thing, not.
I mean, it's important to balance your food, like have vegetables and fruits in balance with meat and like grains and stuff. But also, the literal use of that method is rather difficult. Like, what the fuck do you do if you're eating pizza or if you're eating, anything that has more than one of those things in it? The only things that really applies to are people who eat like a slab of meat, a grain, and some vegetables.
Yeah, and she wasn't a fan of the whole.
Which, frankly, I would rather not ever.
Right, I'm like,
that's one of my least favorite kinds of meal.
But here's the thing: like, this is all recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if I see her again, I will just flat out tell her, like, no, full on plating isn't happening. Like, first of all, I'm finding it way too fucking stressful.
Like, what does a burrito count for?
It depends on what it's made out of. And I'm not joking. Like, it depends on the ingredients. Like, I could have I can make a burrito if it's the tortilla has to be like whole grain. Something like that. There's a whole system. You look at the you look at the nutrition information. You look at the carbs. Then you subtract the fibers from that, and and you add any sugars or added sugars that are mentioned in the label. Like,
they're already included?
No, they are not. You got to do some math here. Look, I know, but all I'm gonna I don't know how well I'm going to maintain weight, but
especially since it's this season, which is the #1 season for eating too much.
I'm not worried about eating too much. It's continuing to lose weight that's more of a concern. But it's also just refiguring out my diet again.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Just a lot of stuff there. Anyway, that's why that's a big reason why it took 2 hours to get through. So certainly eat more balanced because there were some concerns that like for some dinners I would have just meat and that's it. And she mentioned some concerns about developing fatty liver, especially since I'm on a Stetson because my triglycerides were pretty bad last time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm trying the plating as best as I can, but certainly I'm not going to do the fucking plating method every fucking meal from now on. That's just not happening. And let's see, upcoming tomorrow, I head to the dentist at long last.
Woo!
I'm like,
hopefully they let you keep your head.
they should.
I'm joking.
Don't forget to write "Do not amputate."
I mean, like, I know at the very least I need my teeth cleaned because I can see some of the tartar buildup.
Mhm.
It may take more than one session. Thankfully, it's November, and I haven't. If I need to go to the dentist like next month, I think that still technically counts under my insurance. Like, I'm not expecting like the need to have like a tooth pulled or even a cavity filled because there's no mouth pain, there's no bleeding gums, that kind of thing. It's like maybe there's some gingivitis there, maybe there's been a bit of receding gums, maybe some lost enamel, like some stuff like that. It's like whatever's covered under my insurance, I can do.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, no, I don't have fucking thousands of dollars to spend on a bridge for my teeth, unfortunately. And let's see, next week, I finally get my next. I finally do my next set of labs on voting day. So kind of looking forward to that. Kind of not. I'm not looking forward to the actual process, but I've been monitoring my blood sugar and it's been promising.
Mhm.
Like, so we'll see what happens there. I guess other things to be concerned about. I may have to go to a dermatologist because I've got this rash on my right leg.
Ooh, fun.
And, I don't know, because I'm 42, I am dealing with various sorts of pains. Like, I'm concerned that I might have the onset of maybe carpal tunnel syndrome, or maybe there's something going on with my back or my neck. Like, like sometimes my wrist gets into pain states.
Well, sometimes the body just hurts for not medical
Right.
reasons.
Right, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's like, and like the pain will sometimes go to my forearm was hurting on Sunday, as well as like my funny bone was bothering me, which is another type of syndrome, like corporal tunnel syndrome or something like that. Like,
No, carpal tunnel is your forearm.
no, carpal tunnel's forearm. I'm saying like if it's that condition with your funny bone, it's a different kind. It's like corporal tunnel. Like, or I could just be worried over, nothing. But I've already gone ahead and got some wrist guards from Amazon. Like, they arrived today. The wrist pads arrived today. I'm ordering the wrist guards tomorrow when I get paid. But it's like, and sometimes like when I hold a game controller or when I hold my smartphone, the pressure will press on the palm and make make more pain, and I'm concerned about that. It's not doing that now. Anyway, I conclude this news, and so we're going to try a new thing here. And we're going to look at this Lawmage Academy demo. Right. So I guess I should at least give the lowdown on what this is.
I mean, it's a magic school RPG, right?
Yes, but it's a magic school RPG where you learn spells, craft potions, make friends, and go on exciting adventures as you uncover the dark series of secrets of Lawmage Academy. Specifically, this is a RPG Maker game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, about the go through some of the other bites here. About the game. Magaskaya, a country full of wonders, requires the assistance of lawmages to protect it from the threat of magical creatures. You are one of the few people invited to study at the prestigious Lawmage Academy. Upon acceptance, you are assigned by the administrators to one of the houses. You then proceed to the academy, knowing little of the dark secrets that await you. Discover your home among the 4 academy houses. Learn spells by reading books and attending classes. Fight strategically by exploiting weaknesses and breaking shields. Gather various ingredients from breathtaking locations. Okay, that's not exactly the word I would use for when you're gathering ingredients. Okay, but anyway, craft potions and charms to aid you in missions. Create meaningful bonds with your classmates to help them grow. Explore the academy and find secret rooms, and many more. So yeah, it's seeking to be like the full-fledged, boarding academy RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not be surprised if this borrowed more than a little from the House of Potter.
Well, yeah. The thing is, a lot of the stuff that's looks like it's from there is also just sort of generically from the British boarding school system.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing. Even before she became the raging transphobe, J.K. Rowling was kind of a bad writer. But that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll see how long this demo is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, admittedly, it's going to be an adjustment in terms of commentary, since we're usually the games we display here are a bit more interactive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, either that or they're visual novels.
I guess I'm not exactly sure. I call Heaven's Vault a visual novel.
No, we're not doing. I'm not talking about Heaven's Vault. We've done visual novels before,
Right.
for like reviews and stuff mostly.
Yeah. Though this is not a visual novel per se. It may have heavy visual novel-esque dialogue segments, especially since it's a goddamn RPG Maker RPG. I've seen those. I think we've reviewed some of those.
Visually somewhat resemble, well, aside from just general RPG stuff, the people are tall, so it's reminding me a little bit of, I don't know, Stardew Valley and stuff, but we'll see.
I could see that, but I'm just going, yep, this is definitely an RPG Maker game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not bad. There are plenty of good RPG Maker games.
No, but what I'm saying here is, like, if you told me this was an RPG Maker game, I'd certainly buy it. Right. Huh. Oh, this escalated quickly.
Dang it, did we end up in Final Fantasy?
Fuck, what was the fire crystal jobs?
Red Mage.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I know that was when you got Red Mage in 5.
Huh. It's a bit early to be having the doppelganger fight.
On the other hand, I'm sure they're testing your character or something.
Probably. This seems like storyline battle. Like,
Hey, go. Sorry.
It's one of those battles where you're supposed to lose, or you can't win by smacking. Anyway, you were saying?
Oh, hey, Gollux is wrong. Red Mage is Water Crystal. Fire Crystal jobs in 5 are Beastmaster, Geomancer, Ninja, Ranger, and Bard.
Hmm.
In other words, ninja, and a bunch of very situational things.
Oh
I
boy.
mean, how much money do you have?
I think I have 0 when I looked in the thing.
I mean, I guess this is. I guess this is a secret class in the sense of job class. So, or no, this I guess this is the tutorial.
Well, it looks like you pick classes to get you skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ready?
He was just talking.
oh, we having technical difficulties again.
You did cut out there.
No, he
Anyway.
did not.
Oh, or at least you cut out.
All right, looks like everything needs at least homeroom as a prerequisite. So
I mean, that does
Insert
make sense.
joke about if I could have gone to high school without having to worry about homeroom.
Hmm. Then you call it college. All right. Hi, Professor Not McGonagall.
no, I think this would
We're
be.
supposed to pretend this is original. No, I'm kidding. Again, I'm not ragging on
I know.
this
did.
just being similar to
Sorry,
the
but
franchise that we don't talk about anymore is not a crime.
yeah, but I'm sorry, but she looks resoundingly close to Professor McGonagall.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's a dude.
At least the movie version. Gender doesn't really matter here.
Fair.
I'm still seeing Professor McGonagall here.
Fair.
You know,
All right, so that 200 days. All right. Pretty short for a school year, but all right.
200 days is standard.
yeah, I want to say like 200 days sounds about standard.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
think that's literally the U.S. standard school year. It's either 180 or 200.
Now, mind you, that would be less standard in other countries that don't have as large a summer holiday as we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because farming reasons.
Yeah, tradition.
All right, so every 40th day is exams. Oh, if you fail a single exam, you will be expelled.
So
That's
don't suck.
yeah, that's drastic. There are weeder classes, and then there's this.
If you die in the school, you die in real life. Wait a minute.
I don't think that's the proper.
I know.
Well, you know,
All right, so we're not allowed to leave the dormitories after dark. Good to know.
and I'm sure we'll have to deal with prefects.
Yeah. And or leaving the dormitories after dark.
Just if there's an invisible cloak showing up here, then
Oh, come
I
on, the
think
invisible cloak is the oldest magic item in the book.
Depending on which
I'm like,
book.
uh-huh.
Alrighty.
I'm like, It's perhaps a bit early to call it this a party.
Oh,
And you have a party of two is valid-ish.
That's a joke.
that's that's
But-
not good.
But it's keeping with the times. You know, it's like it's kind of hard to commentate on this right now since we're going through a lot of beginning rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I mean,
yeah,
that's how it's going to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's following an actual school experience. This is how it went for me.
Also, an actual RPG experience.
That too. So, sometimes you get a Final Fantasy IV, but this is not one of those times. Or Dragon Quest III.
So do we want to do spell casting or potion craft?
Hmm. Let's go with spellcrafting. I guess there's some interactivity here after all. Do-
Just seeing what the locals have to say.
It's some pretty mundane but important stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look, some of it's even highlighted. Was that really necessary? Like, it's always a bit patronizing when you get the extra highlights. It's not just this game. I'm just talking in general.
Oh. Oh boy, night jobs, even though we're not allowed to go out at night.
I'm
Depends on how you define out.
Fair.
uh-huh. And the time of the job. Like, if it's something at like 5 to 9, you might be fine. Granted, that's cutting things close, but
Oh. I think I found free equipment.
free
Yep.
is good.
Free is the best kind.
Well, free is good in an RPG. I should quantify. Like, if you're finding, like a uniform that's lying on the ground, it wasn't free.
It wasn't
That's
free
because,
and you may have actually committed a felony.
well, it's more somebody ended up stuffed in a locker.
At best.
Well, I mean, even if they were knocked out, I would assume that the gatherings would, the belongings would have been gathered. I mean, this does seem like an actual academy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and remembering my colonial history, this isn't something that was ingrained on the Philippines necessarily. At least, the Philippines weren't a British colony; they were a Spanish colony.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we want to do spell casting.
Yes, I'm just noting that in a lot of former colonies, you still get a lot of the colonial master's imprints.
Oh yeah, the school systems on former colonial countries are almost always.
Yeah.
It's one of the big things that is sort of like, well, that you should do it the way that we were doing it, obviously.
Now the thing of it here is if the Philippines were to have that lineage, it wouldn't be Spanish. It would be American because the Philippines was an American colony from 1898 to 1945, and it's also we were pretty brutal colonializers, unsurprisingly or surprisingly, if you read history books. Like in fact, there was a very long guerrilla campaign that happened after the Spanish War, the Spanish-American War. We won that, and McCarthy tried to justify his colonialism. Didn't, but you knew that already. Like, admittedly, I'm a bit hazy on why we actually said okay to the Philippines becoming its own country. Maybe to set a good example for the post-colonial era.
Yeah, that was in the decolonializing period a little bit. So.
It's like I'd say it was one of the first because we're talking immediate post World War II that the Philippines became a independent nation. Because like the decolonization process took decades. Because as it turns out, Europe ruled over most of the world, and deintegrating yourself from that takes time, or sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I would refer to the Indian Partition of 1946, or the Israel, the Israeli not independence.
When it doesn't, you have other issues.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you have the guerrilla warfare that happened beforehand. Obvious one is Vietnam, but certainly not the only one. This might seem like a weird tangent, but look, there's just not a lot to talk about here.
So we have a damaging earth spell, a healing spell, or light damage with a debuff spell.
Damage with a debuff.
What was the question?
What spell did we want to learn?
Oh.
Um.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Right. Defiance. Like, gotta say, the term Lawmage, I'm not in love with it.
It's a little on the nose, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely something that could exist in the realm of reality. But, it's a bit, I think that's my issue. It's a bit plain for a Magic name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm used to Magic being flowery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we are the Grand Inquisitors or something. Clearly not that, but something a bit more flavorful than Lawmage. I mean, yeah, it gets the point across, but that's the thing. Any name you have as law enforcement will get the point across one way or another. Because law enforcement has its ways of getting its points across.
Mm-hmm.
Usually with a baton to the head.
If you're lucky.
It depends on the circumstances and, well, skin color.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I guess we do potion craft now?
We should probably switch over to the topic of discussion, actually.
Alrighty.
All right. So yeah, I mean, maybe if our guest gets in touch with us, we can have him on next week because we do have an open slot there. But in the meantime, yeah, this is Lawmage Academy. Obviously not the most flairful thing to display, but
An RPG. It takes a while to get into those.
Yeah.
It's not just an RPG. It's an RPG simulating the school experience.
Very Persona-esque, only without the flair.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, it's very difficult to put that kind of goddamn flair in a RPG Maker game.
Fair.
It can be done. I've seen I've seen it done.
It can be done. It's still just hard.
Right. Anyway, let's transition over. All right. So, welcome to the topic of discussion. This week, we're talking about Pilotwing 64. 64 because, well, when we picked the topic, which was last week, it was the latest Nintendo 64 game added to the Nintendo online service for Nintendo Switch.
Adam, are you telling me they made 64 Pilotwing games?
That joke has never been funny. Okay?
And yet it happens all the time.
I know. It will never be funny. You are not clever. Stop. I've been hearing that joke since like 96. Anyway, as I was saying, this is no longer the case because Nintendo just uploaded the first two Mario parties. And I know Mario Party is a very fertile topic for us to talk about. It's just, I'm not sure exactly how much experience people here have with Mario Party. I have actually never played a Mario Party title. That's mainly due to a lack of people who are interested in Mario Party to play with.
Yeah.
And Mario Party is a game you need people to play with. I know that much.
Yeah, because the frickin' AI is either ungodly good or brain dead stupid. There is no middle ground.
Right, but this isn't about Mario Party. This is about Pilotwing 64. Another reason I wanted to bring up Pilotwing 64 specifically is because it's marking a new milestone in Nintendo 64 emulation on the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you remember when the service launched, it was derided and quite justifiably so because there was a whole bunch of glitches and stuff. I think there was some slowdown issues as well. a bit fuzzy, but I do remember like Majora's Mask having some pretty noticeable visual problems.
Yeah, it was definitely having a problem with fog effects that the 64 was known for.
Yeah. I don't think it was. I don't think the Nintendo Switch Online ever got as bad as, say, the Wii U's Nintendo 64 emulation, where there was just a problem with the actual emulator. Every like the Nintendo 64 game on the Wii U was too fucking dark. NES games as well had that problem.
Right.
Anyway, so getting back to the present / very recent past, Pilotwings 64 has launched, and it's the first title that's appeared on the service that can be quantified as better than N64. That's the turnaround we're talking about here. We've gone from subpar visuals to, oh, hey, you can display this game at the intended frames per second. Because Pilotwings 64, I suspect, was always intended to run at at 60 frames per second. In fact, there's a few times on the N64 when the game can run at 60 frames per second. Like on the title screen, and like when you're flying over the ocean, and there's nothing else on fucking screen. But obviously, since we're talking about the N64, where frame rates went to die, our our guest has shown up in the chat. Like, hang on, derailed the thought here. Anyway, so the frame rates on the N64 version of Pilotwings was typically 30 on a good day.
Yeah, on a good day.
I'm like, yeah, because once again, frame rates were not very good on the N64. In fact, this might have been the era where frame rates were at their worst. Because, and I'm like specifically thinking the N64, because a lot of the top games, running at 30 frames per second, that was the target. So to have this game running at double the resolution, double the frame rate of the N64 counterpart is no mean feat. It should be. I'm not sure if it should be expected, given the power of the Nintendo Switch versus the the power of the N64.
Like, I think they're also upscaling it to 720p.
Well, yeah, they are up. It runs at 720p, but yeah, that's an upscale because this is straight emulation. If you actually put, like, I'm guessing it's like whatever effort's going on in the emulation is the emulation, because it's an untouched, for the most part, game, or at least that's to be understood. Here's the thing, like, sometimes games get tinkered with. Though I think in the case of like Wave Race 64, the Kawasaki ads actually got retained this time around. But once again, Pilotwings. So to talk about Pilotwings 64 itself, well, it is the second in the Pilotwings lineage, and for those who might not know what Pilot Wings is, it's one of Nintendo's tech demo games. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, because I can't think of a time when Pilot Wings was never not used as a tech demo. Now, clearly, it is also a fully realized game, but if you're seeing a Pilot Wings game, it's going to be showing up at launch, and it's going to be showing off the capabilities of the system. For example, the original. Okay. We're not doing a broadcast on Thanksgiving. Sorry, the guest is still negotiating.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Pilot Wing 64. This was created. I'll put them in the first slot for January then. All right. Anyway, this is a thing that's happened before. Real-time negotiations while we're doing the show. Like, it's never not awkward because trying to talk. Well, here's a question for you two. Have either of you played Pilot Wing 64?
64, no. Goix? I'm going to assume he muted and forgot. Or he left.
Huh. Concerning.
Am I still here?
You're still here.
All right.
I can hear you. Whatever's going on with the Gallets. Is going on with him. Anyway, Pilot Wing 64. So I can't speak to all of the Pilot Wings games because I've played Pilot Wings, I've played Pilot Wings 64. I've never played Pilot Wings Resort. Never ended up picking up a 3DS. I think I determined that it was too expensive and just never got around to it.
Yeah, I remember
the system, not the games.
Okay.
What?
And never mind. Anyway, so Pilot Wing 64 is basically the technical showcase for the 3D graphics of the Nintendo 64, which always struck me as a bit unusual because, you had Mario 64 right alongside it. And that was, obviously it's one of the greatest games of all time. But there's no getting around the fact that that was also very much a tech demo for 3D gaming. I guess Nintendo wanted to go more aerial with this one because, as the name implies, Pilot Wings is all about flight craft.
Well,
although in the case of
Pilot Wings also did more with like object scaling than Mario 64 did.
But
Probably.
once again, that's a thing Pilot Wings was known for as well, because Pilot Wings was used to test run Mode 7. But in Pilot Wings 64, you will find the three main events or vehicles are the gyrocopter, the the jetpack, and the hang glider. I have to remember that because skydiving is in this game, but that is one of the bonus events. It's skydiving, cannonball, and what they call the Dumble Hopper, which is an unusual machine to see in Pilot Wings because it is a It's basically a thing that makes you jump. Jumping is not flying.
It's falling with style. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
And-
saying it so I didn't have to.
Yeah. And if you want that other thing, well, you got the cannonball.
Mhm.
Good.
I'd say it still falls under the thing of like vertical exploration, which some of them do.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Once again, I got distracted by the guest. Okay, anyway, yeah. So, from what I recall, Pilotwing 64, like, it's a competent game. I know that's perhaps not the most flowery terms of expression I can use in terms of praise, but I think that's the job Pilotwing 64 was going for. You know, though as a flight simulator, this game has more personality than pretty much any other flight simulator I can think of, including other Pilotwings games. Like the original Pilotwings didn't have as much personality as Pilotwings 64. That is to say, you didn't have avatars that had names and faces and distinct weight classes.
Yeah, you are a generic pilot person who will control flying vehicle, or as the case may be, hang glider.
Yeah.
But in this one, you have 6 people, male and female, light, heavy, and medium, all named after birds.
Yeah. And names change depending on your location because I'm like, turns out there is not an actual bird called hooter. That's a term for a bird. And yes, that is Robin's Japanese name.
Fair. I suppose I should say all bird related anyway.
Yeah. It's a distinction without a difference. Like, and anyway, as far as how things controlled, once again, it controlled well enough for the time, but I'm wondering how much that's aged. Because Nintendo 64 controls in general have aged pretty roughly.
Yeah.
Well,
And
again, they had not. They had the idea of a separate camera control thing, but they hadn't thought of a second stick for it yet.
mind you, there's never been a Pilotwings game that has had that setup. Because remember, when Pilotwings Resort came out, that was launch day. That's before the 3DS got the analog nub.
I thought it was updated to use the Circle Pad Pro or the new 3DS nub. I could be wrong on that. It's been a while.
I wouldn't know. Like, I'm just saying, that was a launch game. So, that was probably, that was definitely programmed with, the stock
Yeah.
3DS controls. And different vehicles handled more fiddly than others. Like the hang glider. Well, I suppose the handling wasn't the problem with the hang glider. It's more landing the fucking thing. that was rough. Yeah. I'd say in terms of handling, the one that gave me the most problems was the rocket belt. Because there's a surprising amount of precision. Because people want to call that the jetpack. It's not a jetpack. in the sense that you don't just go up. You're just not moving at a straight angle, straight line, a straight vector. No, you've got horizontal adjustment in the rocket pack as well. And that was the case with the original rocket pack as well. It's just now it's in 3D.
3 dimensions.
But the game can be very relaxing, especially if you unlock the Birdman, which is just free range. And as far as the visual look goes, it's a mixed bag from what I remember. Like, so for the Nintendo 64, Pilotwings 64 has some very big areas, including the Little States of America, which is a tiny, which is a like 1/10 recreation of the United States.
The greatest hits version.
Yeah, it's just keep in mind we are talking about the Nintendo 64, so what you're gonna get is a lot of stretch textures, low, even for the N64 fidelity polygons.
Mm-hmm.
And the really nice water effects that kind of hold up today in Wave Race 64. Oh God, no, the water's just downright ugly here. Yeah, because once again, this is the kind of thing you exchange in terms of open worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also 1996 because I'd say The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time looks better than Pilotwings 64.
Although that's another one that has aged kind of questionably graphics-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, like, pick an N64 game and tell me how it hasn't aged graphically.
Barring the ones that don't use polygons, yeah, it'd be tricky.
Yeah.
Like Paper Mario still looks pretty good.
Even Mischief Makers looks fairly dated. I know it uses sprites and everything, but it's got a bit of a pre-rendered look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like Vector Man, only a lot more detailed.
Yeah. Anyway, as far as is Pilotwings 64 worth playing today? I'd say so. At least if you've got the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass. As far as what Pilot, you'd probably be better served with Pilotwings Resort. As I know, 3DSs are starting to become hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Pilotwings Resort isn't going to be very hard to get. Like,
Maybe a lot of first-party Nintendo games, as they don't drop their prices like ever.
right, but I don't think that it's in production anymore. But what I'm saying is it's also not going to be insanely expensive either.
Mm.
Like, hang on, this is going to call for a bit of live research. All right, things resort price. Yeah, Amazon $29.97, eBay $34.99, which for a first party Nintendo game is pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not $10 cheap like some Nintendo 3DS games from around this time, but once again, this was made by Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's also not going for $60 goddamn dollars. Anyway, so yeah, need to wrap up the conversation here. So the week ahead. Let me see. So we do have a new episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents planned. And with guests, both of them will be showing up this time. Anyway, let me get to the proper page. Anyway, so on Friday, November 4th, we are supposed to be having the Smooth Brain Dev, the creator of the boomer shooter called Incision. This is on the bubble because apparently he's going through some personal issues and may not be able to join us. I suppose we'll see on that. And yeah, so be sure to join us on the Sunday reviews, as well as we have reviews for Elite Assault, Opus Castle, Future Night, and Paper Nebula. So until then, I shall wish you good gaming.